Hi muckers and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you're all doing very, very, very well. I'm filming in a place that I don't think ever filmed in before, which is I'm actually just sitting in my living room. So welcome. These are my new sofas that I got ages ago. These are actually the only piece of like adult furniture that I own myself because I've always just rented and I'm renting in this apartment as well. But I normally just kind of go with the furniture that they give. However, the sofas that they gave for this apartment were so bad. So I did replace them and they're great because multiple people can sit in them. They're so big. So whenever I have like parties and stuff, like me and my friend Liv will always sit on that one. And then like two people will sit here and two people, it's a hit. It's a hit. This is where the fun happens in the apartment. This is the fun corner. I wanted to come on here and film because I have a lot of thoughts right now. It's currently just turned midnight, and we are in November right now, which as well, I just can't believe that like Halloween stuff is still going on. I went into town last night to see my friends, and there were people still dressed up, and I'm like, okay, it's the 3rd of November. Like, give it a rest. Okay, we get it. I love Halloween. I love it, but like the clock is ticking, and I need to move on to the next festive thing, which is Christmas. Also, whenever I was out last night, so I went out for wine with my friend Hannah and Miranda, and then I met up with my friend Rachel, and she was out with her boyfriend, and her boyfriend really wanted to go to a casino, like all of his friends, I guess, wanted to go to a casino, so I followed them, and oh my god, like I've only ever been to a casino in Vegas, and oh my god, it was nothing like the casinos in Vegas. It was truly so run down, so horrible, and god, I really do just hate casinos. Actually, I remember in my video a couple weeks ago, I was like, I love casinos, like I want to be back in Vegas. It's fun for Vegas because Vegas is Vegas, but whenever you're like gambling in Brighton, and I live down the road, no. So me and my friend ended up gambling £40 and we lost all of it, and we just were like walking away. We just walked away. We were like, all right, that's it, today's not our day. That's the only time I've gambled other than Vegas, so I can't really say it's going to be something that's in my life forever because I can't get behind it. I don't care. Like, I don't care to gamble money at all, which is great because I probably would be so insufferable and spend all my money. And like when I was in Vegas, the loud noises and stuff really started to get me at a certain stage where my mom had to take my debit card off of me. So I was thinking about Halloween, like I said, and I thought about how Christmas is next. And even last night I was sitting down filming a video and I kind of was just thinking and being very nostalgic in multiple different things, and I think I always get really nostalgic whenever a holiday comes up because I think of like the holidays in the past that I've had with that holiday, I guess. So for Halloween, I always think back to like my days of trick-or-treating, or let me lock my phone here. I always look back on like different things like that. Sorry, I'm trying to close out of this tab. There we go. Ooh, am I good to close? Sorry, my camera's connected to my phone, so I just wanted to make sure I was still recording, but I think I am. So anyways, the thing with Halloween is I never really was a big Halloween person whenever I was younger. And I trick-or-treated for a couple years, and then my last year trick-or-treating was like, I was like too old to be trick-or-treating. And I was like, damn, this sucks. But I remember those years where I was a kid and I would go trick-or-treating, and we lived in a neighborhood that had like a lot of kids in it. And it always was just so fun. And I remember it was so fun because we were all allowed to like go trick-or-treating without our parents like down our ass, you know what I mean? Like watching where we were going like every fucking 2 seconds and stuff because we're kids. You know, our neighborhood was quite, I was going to say it was quite safe, but no, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. But we would just have fun like being parentless, wandering the streets because everyone was doing it. And there were so many parents out in the street anyway, which is such a dangerous thing, but whatever. And I remember that whenever I was really young and trick-or-treating, I remember it was always so exciting because I knew that I was going to get sweets. And I was hoping that I would get my favorite Haribos. Or, you know, it was the innocence of only being able to get sweets whenever it's one day a year in Halloween or something like that. You know, now we can just go to the shop and buy sweets. And I just think that there's so many things like that in life where they were so exciting when we were younger, or the nostalgia of them is so much better. And a big reason for that is because we literally think, you know, so strongly about things back then because it wasn't as attainable as what it is now, just like by being an adult, like going out and buying something, whatever that may be. And I feel this way as well because I like buying stuff to do with like artists and merchandise, things that I dreamt of getting whenever I was younger, and I always really wanted them. In my later years, I have actually went out and bought them to kind of heal my little inner child. And obviously it's not the same thing. And I'm like, wow, I wish I was still so excited about this or whatever. It's crazy to me when you like experience more in life, things feel different or they aren't as impactful or they're impactful in another way. And so I was thinking about Halloween, and now how Halloween is to me is, you know, like a night out drinking with my friends. You know, everyone's out and it's super fun. Whereas whenever I was younger, it would have been trick-or-treating and watching a Halloween movie. And then I look back on that and I'm like, oh, that's so sweet. But then I know whenever I was younger, and I'm talking about like 16, 15, I wanted to be going out. So the time in between has made me kind of romanticize how great it was. When in reality, I was always wishing for what I had now, which is weird. But Christmas is a main one. And I think every Christmas I've struggled with this concept of I'm a huge Christmas person. I love it. It is my favorite holiday. I really have always loved Christmas ever since a child. And my brothers loved Christmas, but like I was a whole different level, and I knew that my parents knew it as well. The Christmas music, the Christmas decorations, just everything about it to me I loved. And then when I became a Mariah Carey fan and the whole Christmas connotation there, oh my God, you know what I mean? Like, and I love music so much, so Christmas music is something I was just always so excited for throughout the year. And I think back on whenever I was younger, or like my younger Christmas years, and I'm like, wow, you know, it was so exciting. And, you know, Christmas is exciting nowadays, but for different reasons. And I think that's just a part of growing up and why, you know, your attitude towards certain things changes. Where, you know, whenever I was younger, the things I'd be really excited for Christmas were presents or the idea of Santa Claus coming. And now what I get excited for when I think of Christmas is going home, you know, flying home and like seeing my grandparents or seeing my family, seeing my brothers, us all being under the same roof, Christmas dinner. Very different things I prioritize when it comes to Christmas now versus then. And obviously that's just a big part of growing up. And I think of the excitement. Oh my God, the excitement I would have on Christmas Eve. I was so like, oh my God, I was so obsessed with Santa Claus, like so obsessed. Like I had the NORAD Track Santa, you know, where you can like go on the website and it like tracks the houses that Santa's going to and stuff. I would watch that all day, and I would make sure that I was sleeping by the time he got to Europe in any capacity. And, you know, things like that are just, I look back on it and I'm like, that is so sweet. And I remember those like portable North Pole videos where it would be like Santa talking to your child. When I would get those, like I believed it. Like I locked in and I believed that. And I just think there was such an excitement. I remember specifically, me and my dad have this tradition. We don't really do it anymore, which is really unfortunate. But on Christmas Eve, we would drive around all of, you know, our extended family's houses, and we would, you know, drop off gifts. We would just catch up, whatever. And I remember whenever I was younger, on one of the years, my dad went into his mum's house or something, and I was sitting in the car, and I remember rolling down the window, and I remember I can just like imagine this right now. The air came in, and it was so cold, and I remember just looking up, and it was a cloudless night. There were no clouds in the sky, and I remember just thinking, somewhere up there, Santa Claus is flying. And I believed it. It was real to me. And I will always remember that moment. And I don't know why it sticks out in my mind so much, but just I was such a believer. And I could not describe to you just how deep in the Santa Claus lore I was. Like, ultimately, I found out Santa Claus wasn't real because I was so chronically online that I was comparing, like, is Santa Claus real videos to is Santa Claus fake videos. And the reason I did that was because someone who lived in my old street, they didn't grow up with Santa. They didn't have a great family situation. And so they didn't grow up with Santa. And I remember being really young and this person like gathering me and my friends, and we were all really young, and like telling us Santa isn't real. And I was so pissed. I was so pissed. I believed for like maybe a year after that. I was like, you're a liar. I'm going to compare this year. And my parents like always pulled it off. So I would always believe. I just think about how I used to be so pissed at that person. But when I'm older now, I realize that they were probably so upset about the fact that everyone else was getting this experience that they weren't. And I completely understand why they would literally herd us all together and tell us. But the principle of Santa Claus being real and writing your Christmas letter, oh my God, don't get me started on that. Making the cookies, don't get me fucking started, bitch. The glass of milk, always there. Cookies, warm, freshly made. Oh, I'd lock in the carrots fresh from the store for the reindeer. Reindeer dust, do you know what that is? Sounds like a drug. In the shops in Derry, I don't know if they sold this everywhere, they would have reindeer dust, which was apparently like reindeer food, and it was just like glittery. It probably was just glitter. But to me, whenever I was younger, this was reindeer food. My mom would take me out and get some, and we would sprinkle outside our front door in the morning, or on Christmas Eve night, which to me now, being an adult, I now know that my parents had to like dust up a bunch of fucking glitter so that their child would believe that the reindeer ate it. But all that, I clocked it. Like my brothers, you know, didn't believe in Santa most of the time that I believed in Santa because they were older than me. And so, I was locked in. I would set up like booby traps for Santa Claus. I would do little like challenges that he had to do to prove to me he was real. But obviously I was telling my mom and dad that I was setting them up, not knowing that they were putting a fucking word in. I remember on one of my years where I was like 50-50 in believing him, I left out a hairbrush and hid it and was like, if he uses this, I know he's real. And for some fucking reason, I tell my mom I did it. I wanted to keep it a secret, but I just can't stop fucking talking. And so I tell my mom, and truth be told, I wake up in the morning and the hairbrush, now this gagged me. Like, this actually gagged me. Like, bravo, mom and dad, for this one. Like, to this day, like, this is genius. And by the way, if any parents are out there, like, you need to use this one because, oh my fucking God, this turned me from a half believer into, like, I would die on the hill of Santa Claus. And so genius. You know the little Santa toys, like statues? They always have the beards. They literally just brushed it. And then the hair came out. And it was the color that I was like, oh my God, this is Santa Claus's hair color. So that blew my mind. And I remember, I'm going to go and grab a tissue, by the way, because my nose is running. So I'm just going to keep talking. I guess I have this microphone. So anyways, that Santa Claus fucking beard one was absolutely crazy. And they really blew it out of the park with that one, if I'm being honest. And what was another one? Oh, another one was I, for some reason, believed that if I put my Toy Story 3 toys down in the living room that they would come to life. Like, I was a believer. Like, I was barricade for SantaCon. Like, you know what I mean? Which I now know is a thing in New York, because I always see everyone. I'm always in New York for some reason when SantaCon is happening, because everyone is just dressed like Santa. Maybe I'll do it one year. Maybe I'll do it this year. I think I'm there for it again. Anyways, I believe that if I put my Toy Story 3, Woody, Jesse, Buzz, what's the little horse called? What's the horse called? Slinky, Bullseye. I put them all down there. Lotso as well. Little Enemy. But he was misunderstood, and he was done wrong. We'll talk about that another day. I actually need to rewatch the movie. I don't want to die on that hill yet. I'm not defending him yet. Oh my God, the fucking Toy Story 2 is so good. I need to watch that. Might watch them all tonight, actually. So anyways, I believe that the toys will come to life, like in the movie, and they would be so shocked by Santa Claus. This sounds like bullshit. They'd be so shocked by Santa Claus that surely they would be in a different position when I woke up in the morning. Like, yeah, they fall, But like, surely you're going to be so shocked by Santa Claus that like you will forget your previous, like I thought about it. I thought about it deep. I'm going to be real. I take a picture of them before I go to bed. Now, my mom and dad obviously ask me, why are you putting your toys in the living room where Santa's going to be hopefully bringing some prezzies? And I say my plan. For some reason, I tell them my plan. I should have kept it to myself. And truth be told, I wake up in the morning, and would you believe it? Fucking Woody's riding Bullseye, Buzz and Jesse are fucking over there, and I'm like, huh? I'm like, amen. Praise be to Santa Claus. Like, you are real. Like, your tea is so valid. And so I just couldn't believe it. And so I was just a believer for like, I was like, fuck this shit. Fuck the haters. Fuck the non-believers. Like, I'm here. Like, I'm forever grateful. Your kindness. I was meant to say your highness. So I had like all these years of these amazing Christmas memories. And also something as like easy as when I was younger, like a Christmas tradition was going to my Nana and Granda's house on Christmas like afternoon, and all of the families would be there, like extended family, extended family, and it would be this huge thing. You know what I mean? Like all day we're eating, the adults are drinking, you know, I was too young at that stage. And I just think back on those times and I'm like, oh, okay, like I didn't understand adult dynamics. I didn't understand whatever. So, you know, obviously family is complicated and my family is definitely complicated and we don't do that anymore. And all the families, you know, just go off on their own. And whenever I was younger, I would have known the reason for that if I was me now, if you know what I mean? Because I'm an adult and I understand adult situations, and just because you're blood doesn't mean you have to love each other and all like this. But as a kid, I wouldn't have understood that, and I didn't. So those memories getting stripped, you know, definitely killed the Christmas magic. But as an adult, you understand it and you're more realistic about life, and it isn't just this marvelous, everything is amazing day. You know what I mean? There are things that happen and there's things to consider, and I just think that I get so nostalgic when it comes to Christmas. And I feel like I'm so grateful that my parents really did Christmas every year and that they like were so devoted to it. And I know we talk about it all the time now, where they say that it was genuinely as exciting, if not more, for them than, you know, for the kids and stuff. But they really gave me and my brothers a great Christmas every year. And so I always look fondly on those memories. But it always makes me sad that, like, it will never be like that again. You know, Christmas will never be like that. I have my own traditions now, but they're all, like, my own traditions, you know, nothing really with family. You know, for as long as Mariah Carey will do these Christmas shows in December, like, I will be going to them. I've gone the last, I don't know, like, 3 years this year. This will be my, oh my God. Really? 2022, 2023, 2024. This will be my 3rd Christmas with Mariah Carey. I have my own traditions now, and I always go to New York for that week. And that's something I always look forward to, and I associate it with Christmas. I don't decorate my apartment anymore. I mean, I used to. This will be the first year that I'm not decorating my space myself, or in general, no one's doing it for me. Last year, whenever I had moved to Manchester, I celebrated Christmas in Manchester before I went back home. And I decorated my apartment because I was feeling kind of down anyway in Manchester, and I just wanted to pick me up. So I got a really nice tree, I decorated the apartment, I got nutcrackers, I got everything, and I loved it. And I didn't stay in the apartment much longer after that, so I didn't really get to see the decorations. And then whenever I came back to take the decorations down, it was when I was moving out of the apartment. So I just thought this year, like, it's not worth it to decorate. And I'm like, oh my God. I could not believe me ever saying it's not worth it to decorate for Christmas. But I'm like, it's not for me in my apartment. I'm like, there's too much goes in, too much taking it up, putting it down again, too much work. And I'm like, oh my God, the Christmas magic is gone. Like, it's gone. When would I ever say that? And I'm like, yeah, I couldn't be bothered. Oh my God, what's happening? That makes me so sad, like so sad. But I'm self-inflicting it on myself, but I'm growing up. My priorities are doing other things. Instead of putting the Christmas things up, I'm taking the dogs on a walk. Or instead of, doing that, I'm filming a video or whatever. Oh my God, that makes me really sad. And again, Christmas to me now is something that in the grand scheme of things, like the Mariah Christmas shows are something I look forward to. Going home and seeing my family and like drinking with my brothers and eating with my family, like I really love that. But there's things that like stress me out about Christmas now. And I have a different approach to it. And I'm like, oh my God, the nostalgia of a child just kind of makes me feel even worse about the reality of now. I'm much more realistic about the weather when I'm an adult. It's miserable weather. And it really can kick in a fucking seasonal depression, which can last a while. And I also just think about how impractical it is when it's fucking raining every day. How impractical it is whenever it's fucking dark out at 4 p.m. It doesn't feel safe. It doesn't, all these different things, right? And that's a stress. And then another stress is I'm like, oh my God, the Christmas season is so expensive, which is something I didn't consider whenever I was a kid. And then I think of how, a big thing that really stresses me out is getting presents for people as well. Like, whereas that used to be my favorite thing, even gifting people things whenever I was younger, I used to love it. I used to have like a fucking £5 budget and I would find 5 different things. You know what I mean? But now it stresses me out that like gifting things to people makes me more anxious than anything. And while I'd like getting a present, even Christmas morning, like receiving presents from my family also makes me like sometimes feel quite uncomfortable because I don't like that people are spending their money on me, even my family, because I'm an adult now and I know how far or how little money can go. So it's like, keep your money to yourself. We don't need to be doing this anymore. And yeah, I know so many families that, don't do presents anymore and don't whatever. And even as a family, like over the years, we have, said to each other that we're going to cut back on what we get each other or whatever. But I just feel like there's always that pressure there. So there's this realistic approach to Christmas now. And I feel like there's this realistic approach to situations in life in general where you grow up and you realize that it's different than what you thought or when you didn't have responsibilities. And I guess that's why I'm so nostalgic in a lot of ways. And the reason I wanted to film this video was because whenever I filmed yesterday, talking about like nostalgic times, like looking back in school days, I find myself even being like, oh my God, I kind of miss being in school. And I'm like, who am I? Like, I am fully just romanticizing something for the sake of nostalgia. I'm like, nostalgia is evil, bitch. You know what's also evil about nostalgia? Like memories with people like that. They can make you change your mind on someone who treated you so bad because you'll think back on the nostalgic good memories, or time will make you forget about things. And I'm like, nostalgia is a bitch. It's crazy. It really is crazy. And I think on another perfect example, birthdays. Bitch, I have not cried on my birthday since I was 20 years old. Now, I'm only 22 now, but that is a lot of birthdays to have cried on, and I haven't had that many birthdays, if you know what I mean. If I could stop hitting myself in the fucking face with that straw, that'd be great, because those Stanley straws are heavy. So, my birthday, when I turned, was it 20? My nose is blocked. Another thing pisses me off about this time of year. I get so sick all the time. Please. So, whenever I turned 20, I was in New York, and I did a little birthday trip, and it was really fun. But I cried the day before my birthday, and I was wandering the streets of New York on FaceTime to my mother, crying about the fact that I was no longer a teenager. And so anyways, moving past that, on my 21st birthday, I think I was also in New York. Don't know how that worked out 2 years in a row. I was also in New York on my birthday. Was I really in New York 2 years in a row? 20, I think I was. Dear God. So anyways, I was in wherever I was on my birthday, and I cried the day of my birthday because I was like, oh my God, I'm officially an adult everywhere. You know, like that waiting to hit 21 is really when you're an adult in America. And I was like, oh my God, now I'm like actually an adult. And then when I turned 22, I felt fine up until my actual birthday. And I filmed, or no, sorry, that's not true. The day before my birthday. Because I remember me and my friend walked to the farmer's market. And on the walk, I'm like a fucking mess. And I'm just saying like how sad I am that my birthday is tomorrow. And I just feel this impending doom the older I get. And I look and compare myself to people my own age whenever I'm like the day before my birthday and yada, yada, yada. And we had this big, long conversation. And, you know, I had this huge breakdown that night. And I just look at my birthdays with... I always get, you know, excited on the day of my birthday. I always get excited to do something. And I am a birthday person at my core. Like, I love having a party. I love doing something. If it's not for me, I want to be doing it for someone else's birthday. Like, I love a birthday. I love a celebration. I think, like, celebrations should be so prioritized, like, in day-to-day life. Like, please give us fucking something to work with here. You know what I mean? But whenever I was younger, my birthdays were my favorite day of the year, above Christmas. And I would love the thought of getting older. And I would want to be older. I remember being like 13 and being like, oh my God, I wish I was in my 20s. And then you reach those ages and you're like, oh. So birthdays is definitely another one. God, I really did used to love my birthdays. And again, I like doing something for my birthday now, but like, I wouldn't say I'm a birthday person anymore. But oh my God, I was whenever I was younger. I'm trying to like rank the days that were like really important to me. I think my birthday when I was younger, then it would be Christmas. Here's the thing as well. I hated St. Patrick's Day whenever I was younger because I couldn't drink because I was a child. And now St. Patty's Day is probably one of my favorite holidays. I think St. Patrick's Day might actually be like number 1 or number 2 on my favorite holidays because it's so much fucking fun. But it's fun as an adult, whereas a child, you know, I would go to the shitty little parades in Derry, which was crazy because Derry is like so big in the Derry Halloween right now. Like, fair fucks to them. So anyways, I really wanted to have a little conversation about nostalgia. If you have any other examples, please let me know because I love diving into this topic of like romanticization of things, nostalgia. Please let me know. Let me know if you have any in your own life or if I'm just incredibly fucking weird. Actually, I know I'm not incredibly weird in this one. I know that a lot of people relate to this. I will see you all in my next video. I hope you're all doing very well and goodbye.